What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of Podcast Deferred. I am your host. Excuse me, good God. I am your host, Seven. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, including a historical ruling from the Commissioner of Baseball, Tanner Houck struggling in Boston, the St. Louis Cardinals apparently figured out how to play baseball again, and because we had so much fun with it last time, we're going to do another judge comparison. So first, let me bring in my co-host with the mo-host experience in this industry, Craig Newton. And then we've got the fabulous, the beautiful to the blind, Erika. And we tried to get him, we tried to get him last week, but unfortunately, he was so intimidated by our greatness that he couldn't handle coming on. But he is brave enough to join us this week and face the music. Oh, wait, actually, he did step away. Oh, there he is. Okay.
My face
Dan the Dick Warner, everybody.
Sunglasses, Dick, really?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, cool. What's
Sunglasses?
Up, Craig? You know, man. It's hot out here.
I've missed you.
Oh, Craig knows. How you guys doing? I've watched the show several times.
We appreciate that.
Hi, Erika.
It's good to have you. For those of you that don't know, Dan's done Sports Report with us for a while, and he also peeped in from time to time back on the winter meetings when it was me, Craig. So happy to get his takes on the topics today. So let's dive into everything, because this is huge for the history of baseball just as a whole. There are maybe not immediate impacts, but long-term impacts to the ruling by the commissioner that a individual who is placed on the banned list, that exclusion now ends at death. So after they die, they would be open for consideration for the Hall of Fame. So this means that Shoeless Joe Jackson, Buck Weaver, and Pete Rose are now eligible for the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose show and Buck Weaver would be up when the Classic Era Committee meets in December of 2027. So that 2028 Hall of Fame class could be interesting, to say the least. So now one thing I want to throw out there that we talked about this morning on Coffee and Sports, right here, Wire to Wire Sports, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Great show. I pop in from time to time. You should check those guys out. Gene read the rule, and it says permanently banned. It does not say lifetime ban. Was that 21A or whatever it is? I think is a rule. It's permanently banned. And like Gene said this morning, you write on the wall paper marker. You write on the wall permanent marker, and you die the next day. The permanent marker is still probably there, right? So, first of all, I'll give you guys an opportunity to say a couple of quick things. First of all, do you agree with the ruling? And out of those players I listed, who do you think gets in first? Craig, the senior member of the staff, you get to go first. What do you think?
I agree with the ruling, and it's about damn time. And Jackson goes in, Rose goes in. Let's not forget Bonds and Clemens too. I think this opens the door for them too, big time.
That's a good point.
Erika, what do you think? Oh, you're eating. Okay. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, the ruling's awesome. Craig, I didn't even think about that.
Don't gag.
She gets called on the first time. She's like, hang on, I'm on there. No,
relax the throat.
Oh my God.
Craig, chill.
It's her birthday carrot cake.
Yeah. We were making that perverted, I think, Tony. I don't think that was.
No,
I think we were making it like that.
I was 100% correct.
Yeah. Okay.
No. So, what do you think, Dan?
It's awesome. Like, obviously, Craig, I didn't even think about Bonds. That I just thought it was like the fucking guys that got like, I didn't think it was PED guys that would possibly, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could open the door for them. That's a good point.
Well, I mean, if they were banned too, I mean, they would technically turn around and fall under the same category.
Right? Would they though? I mean, but they're not banned though. They're blackballed. Nobody like openly banned them from the Hall of Fame, right? I mean, There's just like an understanding that they're not going to get in because of the right. So I guess it doesn't really matter because they weren't banned before. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the crazy part. Hey, Joe Jackson though, Tony, without shoes on, okay, hit 326. So like. No cleats? Really? I mean, pretty fucking impressive. Sorry.
Yep.
Well, and Erika, what do you think? You're still eating? You know what? Hold on. Here,
there we go. We can just do it like that.
It's her birthday.
You're literally like a waiter. As soon as I took a bite, you're like, hey, Erika. Oh, hold on. All right, Dan, it's your turn. I turn to take a bite again. Hey, Erika.
She was like,
you knew I was going to call it. And you still took a bite. Only for the server, they don't know that you have food in your mouth.
I feel like
you don't know they're coming.
I feel like sometimes, though, they like purposely make like contact with somebody at the table.
Oh, I did that all the time because I didn't want to listen to him complain. So if I come by when they got food in their mouth, I'm like, and then somebody else's problem. So,
well, but this is my problem right now. Just kidding. No, I definitely agree with Craig. I think it's great. I think that it definitely does open the door for Bonds. Like I think it's great. I think it's about fucking time.
I'm also with Erika on the we shouldn't be asking if we're a waiter if everything tastes good because like just assume it does. You know what I'm saying? Like, assume it does. And if I'll say something about it. But like, I don't want to like tell you that it tastes good. Like, it's not like stroking your Chili's ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, it's good. Like, I get it. It should be fucking good. You know, like it should, if it's not, I'll let you know. I'm paying $40 for it, so it better be. How about that? And if you don't get me a refill of Mountain Dew.
Well, no, but there is like, but also I think that there's something that is looked at more now with difficult situations that I don't think was back in the early 1900s. So like with Buck Weaver, it is well known that Buck Weaver never took a dime from the Black Sox stuff, but he never shaved any points. I think he hit like 350 or something in the World Series.
Didn't Chili's Joe hit like 4 something?
No, it was 326.
Okay, it's outrageous either way.
Right. But
without shoes on,
because he sat in on the meetings and didn't say anything about it, they said that he was complicit and guilty. In today's game, that's a 1-year suspension at most. Like that's if you might get half a season for something like that. Like you knew but didn't do anything about it.
Well, does it matter like the severity of what you knew about though? You know what I'm saying? Because like, I mean, if you knew about them shaving points off the World Series, it's a little bit different than like, you know, one of the players doing steroids, something like that, right?
I mean, look at what happened to the managers of the 2017 Houston Astros.
Yeah, good point.
They knew what was going on and did not interfere with what the players were doing. 1-year suspension for all of them.
Everybody.
And that wasn't just a World Series. That was the entire season.
Right.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
I think that for him, there's a level there. And Buck is the one I think out of everybody. Buck and Pete Rose, I think, are the ones that should get the most consideration. Now, with Shoeless Joe, he did shave points for one game. Yes, he didn't for the rest of it, but it was still one game. And then the rest of the Black Sox, they're off of this ban list too. Do we now consider these guys that knowingly took money and participated in this?
I mean, if you do it for one, you have to kind of do it for all.
Not necessarily, because not all of them had Hall of Fame careers. Not all of them had Hall of Fame careers like Weaver and Shoeless Joe. But
true.
If there were any other players that had Hall of Fame numbers up to that point, do we have to give them a shot? And even though they took it, they participated willingly, all of it.
I think baseball gave that answer when they lifted the ban.
Exactly.
Okay. Now,
have we looked at the salaries of the guys on the Black Sox, by the way? Like, how much were they getting paid? Because, like, if it was not very much, then I'm fixing a World Series probably.
Right. But here's the thing. And this was something else that was brought up this morning on Coffee and Sports that I think doesn't get talked about enough. Do you know how hard it was in the early 1900s to tell the mob no?
Yeah, what are they going to do? Like, oh, no, not going to shave points in this useless baseball game. Please don't cut my head off. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they were going to get straight hit.
Or the friend of the show, Ron Waldo, one of his books talks extensively about the betting on the illegal betting on baseball that was happening in the early 1900s that was largely controlled by different mob syndicates. So how much... So, yeah, I mean, these players were technically under duress by that description. Does that work in their favor? Do we still go, you should have said no because it's the integrity of the game, even though you were only making $2,000 a year, which was crap money then too? Like, how much of these circumstances are we going to take into consideration?
I think that, like Craig said, baseball kind of did, I think. I mean, you would almost have to, because, like, yeah, you're not, it's, even if you don't take it, like, who even knows that you're, like, holding up the integrity of the game? It's like you have literally to choose between, like, them kind of trying to kill your family and just like shit, just like maybe do crappy during the games. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, and like you said, they're not getting paid a shit ton of money back then. Like, it's really not. So,
no,
I mean, you get a little bit in your pocket, little deal thing.
Now, there was another point that was brought up, and it was an ESPN article that I read earlier. I know I shared it, Erika and Craig. I know you guys saw it. Dan, I can't remember if I shared it with you or not. Somebody wrote on ESPN about the fact that the Hall of Fame, it's a Hall of Fame and museum. Museums tell history, good and bad. So, but on the same argument,
that's interesting.
I
see what you're getting at here.
It's a valid point, but Pete Rose has a display in the Hall of Fame because he's the all-time hits leader. Has some of his game-worn gear, his stats, his picture. It's all in the museum. He just doesn't have a bust in the hall. There's an entire section that talks about Shoeless Joe and the Black Sox. They just don't have a bust in the hall.
But yeah.
So and so my question is do we have to give them a bust in the hall since obviously it's supposed to be about telling the story of baseball. We're telling the story of baseball. Hi, niece. We're still telling the story of baseball. They're still there. They just don't have a bust in the hall. Is it really that important for these guys like Shoeless Joe, Buck Weaver, Pete Rose, to name a few? The three, I think that those are three biggest ones on the list that are now eligible, is it that important for them specifically to have a bust, or is making sure they're still included in the story all that matters?
That's Go ahead, Craig.
Craig, what do you think?
Bust.
Why?
So they should have one.
Yes.
I would agree with that. I think when it comes down, there's so many different layers to this, and when it comes down to ultimately for me, I just ask what's the most important thing? The most important thing is how they were on the field, right? That's baseball Hall of Famers should be, because we're not going to sit here and go, well, the Hall of Fame is for good people as well. Like, you want me to dig through the histories of everybody who's in the Hall of Fame? I bet I could find something worse than betting on a baseball game, if you know what I mean. So
right.
we're not putting personalities, and we're not putting fucking good people, into the equation. I
have the explicit F. You're fine.
It just really comes out of my mouth. So the versatility of the word, guys. Really, I mean, no, but yeah, but no, I don't think it really matters. But I think so it should be about what they did on the field, and obviously you have the most hits ever. All right, you're top 10 probably. I mean, how do you have the most hits? Longevity, and you're not a top 10 player probably ever at that point. I mean, he's probably not top 10, but yeah. Anyway,
no.
He definitely, for his play on the field, he deserves to be in the Hall. So you look at the number, like if they cut that ban off, then you just look at the numbers. Then you treat it like a normal Hall of Fame induction. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't put any of the behind the scenes stuff because like MLB gave their answer on what that's if they're black or white on that, and it's obviously they said that's okay. Like I don't think that ultimately it's gonna like encourage any players now to bet on games. You know what I'm saying? Like they make enough money, they'll be all right. Like. It'd be hard for Vegas probably to pay them as much as some of them get paid. So I don't think that you're going to have problems with like, them cutting game
mobs or yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like that stuff's not, it was a different time. So like, I don't think that that's a worry of theirs either for like, like, if we put these people in there, then other Major League Baseball players might bet on. It's like, no, I don't think so. But if Shoeless Joe did not have cleats on bust. Okay. If he was never wearing shoes, that's impressive. I don't even care if he like, hit 190. If he's not wearing shoes, it's totally better. I mean,
them going into the Hall has far-reaching financial benefits for the families of these players, their ancestors.
That's a good point.
They're going to get paid. They're going to get paid.
Well, yeah, and that's the financial side, like Pete Rose's family, his daughters and stuff getting that. But like the Reds have been honoring Pete Rose for a little while now. They just had a Pete Rose Day, I think, this week. And his daughters threw out the first pitch of the season.
Yeah, so I'm talking about Weaver and Shoeless Joe. I'm talking about their ancestors.
Right.
Yeah, Rose is taken care of. His estate's taken care of. He's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was a millionaire anyway, so it's not like his family's hurting. But now we talk, like you mentioned, the morality. Obviously, if we go through and start picking apart the morality of every baseball player in there, we're not going to have that many left if we start pulling people out that didn't have the best morals.
Yep.
So that part we can all agree on. But when we look at a situation like here, we have the opportunity. We have a guy like Pete Rose that was a dick to the press most of the time. Not every time. I know Craig said he wasn't that, but you said he to you. But he was a dick to the press most of the time. The guy did do what he did as a coach. Speculation that he gambled as a player, but it was never able to be proven. But it was back then, so it was much harder to prove that stuff. But then we also have the fact that he, when he was 32 years old, was having an affair with a 14-year-old girl.
I didn't know about all that. Pete Rose scared.
And he defended the relationship by saying that they didn't get physical until she turned 16, which was the age of consent in the area at the time.
Probably not the truth.
So probably not the truth, but that's what he said.
From trusty
so we'll go off of that, and just if we're going to actually trust him for once, because he was always honest. He definitely didn't just finally admit to the fact that he was betting as a coach in 2004 because Bud Selig told him he'd consider it, and then he didn't get in even though he admitted it, and he was mad that he didn't get the ban lifted because he had admitted everything. He only admitted it for selfish reasons. And we have that. Yes, we haven't focused on morality, but is there a point where it's reasonable to take a second and go, just because we haven't, doesn't mean we can't look at that moving forward?
Are you wanting to? Yeah.
No. I'm playing. So here's the thing. I'm playing devil's advocate. I do think it's reasonable to give Pete Rose a bus. If they were to come out tomorrow and say he's going to have a bus in Hall of Fame, it makes sense. I'm not going to say anything I said, but I'm playing devil's advocate here because these are the things that have been discussed over the last couple of days. Is there a point where you draw the line and say enough's enough?
Maybe for like the future. Are you talking like maybe for future ramifications of how it sets as a role model or something like, is that what you're kind of saying?
Right. How it's viewed for who we're putting in the hall. Like, because at some point you can kind of clean up the image. Obviously
right.
The discretions of some of those players aren't as well known now as they were back then, or just in general because it was a lot harder to verify that information as it is now.
And it's a lot more accepted,
Right. It's right.
I love it.
Like Pete Rose having a relationship with a teenage girl was a lot more socially acceptable in the 70s than it would be today.
Yeah.
So is there a
still creepy?
That's it was so creepy. It was one of those things
maybe,
where people
40s maybe we're looking at 40s and below. 20s
but at that point they're just like whispering out of the side. Nobody's calling him out on it because it's Pete Rose.
He's trusty Pete.
Right.
He didn't touch her until she was 16.
Right. If that's what he says. But is there a point where you draw the line?
I mean, yeah. I guess you would. Yeah. You can't just be murdering people.
Erika, what do you think?
No. There definitely has to be a line because certain things like that just aren't like, that's just not right.
So, but you're telling me that like if he does it, we just said
Damien,
it's on the field. Yeah, he was grooming.
Oh my God!
He was grooming. What's up, Mo? For everybody watching, Mo was I was on with Mo this morning on Coffee and Sports. Mo's a great dude. Definitely catch him tomorrow morning on Coffee and Sports. Actually, I think I'm going to be on that episode too.
We just said it should come down to on the field performance, right?
It just comes out. Okay, but let's. All right, tomorrow morning. So Aaron Judge has at this point had a career that we can all agree is worthy of at least consideration in the Hall of Fame, right?
Probably not yet. Honestly, yeah. If he quits today, yeah, maybe we're on the cusp. But
we're at least entertaining the idea. He probably needs to get a little while longer. But okay, let's say Aaron Judge is in the position where he has a Hall of Fame career. We'll just call it like that. Aaron Judge is in the position where he has a Hall of Fame career. He snaps and goes crazy in New York and attacks a bunch of people.
If he's a tweener, no. But if he's got Barry Bonds' stat line, yeah, he's going in. Sorry, I don't care if he murders half of San Francisco. I really don't. It's what you did on the field, dude. All right? He could go start a weird cult and move to Africa. I really don't care. He fucking hit 756 home runs or whatever. 763.
Can't we even kind of sit here and kind of compare the whole I don't know, the OJ and Nicole Simpson situation?
I was just gonna say the same thing. For sure.
But serious, look at that situation. He still has his trophies and shit.
Well, he's innocent. He actually got found innocent in a court of law.
Okay, no, he was because
she wasn't convicted.
Dream Team. Let's be honest here. He was guilty. We all know he was guilty. Let's be real.
We don't all know that. A jury didn't know that.
Listen,
just saying.
If the jury had the stones to convict OJ, we would not have to deal with the Kardashians today. That's all I'm going to say about that subject. It's their fault entirely.
Right. Well, yeah, that was the catalyst. Damn you, OJ.
Damien, no, and the simple
because he doesn't have a Hall of Fame numbers.
He didn't have a Hall of Fame career.
So if he has Tony Gonzalez numbers, yes, Aaron Hernandez is in the Hall of Fame. Sorry,
absolutely.
If he has Tony Gonzalez numbers, yep. Right? OJ Simpson's still in the NFL Hall of Fame, correct? Even though he is innocent, he was found innocent in the court of law. Yes, he is. Yes. The juice, bro.
I didn't realize.
Never committed murder.
He had Because that's right. He had the rushing record for a long time, didn't he?
He definitely didn't walk in on his wife screwing another man and stab them a lot. He definitely didn't do that. Because it was found, in a court of law, he was innocent.
Yeah, because if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. That's the only reason he got off on that. I mean,
and that's hilarious, dude. If you ever think about trying to put a glove on, or like somebody trying to put a glove on you, you could not have them put the glove on. You could just make your hand bigger. Like, it's hilarious. Like,
and that's exactly
consume a bunch of salt water the day before, and that
so
glove's
good,
not
dude.
going to fit because your hand's going to be puffed out. That's all you have to do.
You could just like hold it. You could just like hold your fingers in like the same way, and it would just like not go on. I've tried it.
Yeah,
did the research, right? Yeah, like but like that's hilarious. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, he's still a Hall of Famer.
But yeah, I was gonna say he's still a Hall of Famer. So I mean, we could kind of use that as an example. But I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to use that as an example because that's just like a really shitty situation. But like, I mean, he's still sitting there with what he did off the field.
I mean, Tom Brady's in the Hall of Fame, or will be. Okay, so he's a psychopath.
But what is?
There's no way. There's no way that Brady
off the field like that, though.
Oh, we're gonna figure it out eventually. He'll make a mistake, and they'll find the heads. He'll make a mistake, and they'll find the heads. Have you seen, dude? Come on, bro. So during his roast, Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura did the thing about Tom Brady being a psychopath. Those were actual clinical symptoms they were putting up on that thing. And he actually does have every single one. I'm not going to be that guy I was supposed to be for comedy or whatever, but Tom Brady has every psychopath like trait ever. He does. I don't think he feels much, honestly. He cuts young women's heads off, right? I mean,
he left a drop dead gorgeous woman and acted like it didn't faze him and started eating fucking
yoga
plants every day. And
her yoga instructor, her yogi.
Her yogi, yeah.
Her yogi. Sorry, go ahead.
And that's the thing is so you just focus on the field.
Yeah, and so you have to make something the most criteria.
If we look at on the field as it relates to the show, he point shaved. That was on the field.
Okay, fair enough. Good point.
I just played that. Here's the again. I support Shoeless Joe going into the Hall of Fame because of his talent and the numbers that he put up. But what I'm saying is, if that's gonna be our line is on the field because we can't pull morality into it. Shoeless Joe point shaved on the field. Barry Bonds was benefiting from steroids on the field.
All right.
So.
Fair enough. So I'll hit you back with this. If he had a big enough influence on the field and he could actually shave points, actually do it, if he could actually make the score less, he has an influence over the game that he can control like that. He's probably a Hall of Famer because he has Hall of Fame talent. Because not only can he influence it in a winning way, he can actually influence the opposite way. And do you know how good you have to be to mess with the game? Like people talk about LeBron stat padding, and I'm like, do you know how hilarious that sounds to me? He's just getting rebounds in the NBA. He's just getting them for the numbers. What are you talking about? Have you ever been in an NBA game and tried to get a rebound? Good luck. Honestly, good luck. And that's a hit against him because he's messing with the game because he's so much better than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? If Shoeless Joe could actually shave a couple of runs off a game, that dude had an incredible amount of influence over the game. Therefore, he was definitely Hall of Fame talent. Right?
That's all right. So so Shoeless Joe. Now we've got to pick that. So now let's look at that argument for guys because these are when the Modern Era Committee meets in December, they're going to be looking at Palmeiro, Bonds, Clemens, Sosa, probably McGuire. I'm not saying that they're all going to get in, but these are all going to be names that are on that ballot.
That's a little bit more interesting one too, Tony, because now we're looking at guys who are just speculated to have used steroids. Palmeiro tested positive, right? So there's only one guy who tested positive. That whole list you just gave right there, I think only one of those guys.
I thought McGuire tested positive.
I didn't. No. I don't think so. No, yeah. Am I right, Craig? Yeah, no. I think Palmeiro's the only one, right?
Yeah.
Because you always have the blubbering, I'm sorry, I didn't know what I was putting in my body speech afterwards. And I just remember Rafael Palmeiro's like blubbering, I'm putting something in my body I didn't know about, but his was in like a Spanish accent. But yeah, that's how I know that he tested positive. Like that's the only guy.
Damien, this is an interesting question. And I would say if the NBA is going to look at it like the MLB does, it would be after death. But I don't think any of those guys were in a Hall of Fame position anyway. So I honestly, I feel like for that, it is kind of moot. But if the NBA was going to do the same thing, it would still be after they pass away, they get removed from the ban list. And then we can have the debate about whether or not it was a Hall of Fame career.
So if the NBA owners were like the MLB owners, Tony, there wouldn't be as many black guys in the NBA. Count it. Sorry.
And that's true. That's true.
That's actually true.
That's actually true. Well, but and so with these players, like obviously Bonds got the home run record. He still has the home run record for it's the American League, right?
You mean the guy with probably the most ridiculous statistics that have ever existed? That look unrealistic if you look at them. Like that shit's it's unreal.
From those guys, him and Sosa are the two statistically that blow me away.
Sosa's are awesome too, dude. What is it? 4 straight 60 home run seasons I think he had.
Yeah,
it's at one point. Oh my god, that's ridiculous, dude. And just doing it with the worst mechanics ever.
And if we're gonna, and here's the thing though. Now with Sosa, we have to take a step back because you said it was speculated. Yeah. Sosa apologized. That's why he's back with working with that's why he's back working with the organization this year is because he made a public apology. And yet he didn't outright say in the apology.
I was going to say.
Well, he didn't outright say he was juicing in the apology. He said I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing to give myself the competitive edge. Okay, so he said it without saying it. So the question becomes.
Now I'm just wondering what the things might have been. If it wasn't steroids.
I mean, it looks like Botox at one point, based on his face.
Dude, he went straight white. He's like Michael Jackson did, except for worse.
No, yeah.
It's like a villain. He looks like a villain from. It's like a villain from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
He looks like when you're playing as a black guy in a video game, but you turn the brightness all the way up.
Yes. Yep. Yes. It looks burned. Looks like it's like, what is going on there?
So he admitted it. Okay, Craig, what do you got?
Only one player out of this entire group had secured the Hall of Fame by his numbers prior to the steroid era. Barry Lamar Bonds.
Yes, absolutely.
Only one. Yeah. Sosa's record before steroid era, average to good.
Good point.
That's fair.
I mean, Bonds, the Bonds goes in. I mean, the bottom line, you look at his stats before the steroid era, he had Hall of Fame numbers already.
Absolutely.
Craig, do you think he still goes 500, no roids, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
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 Well,
yeah.
And there
probably goes more steals. For sure. Sorry.
So with Bonds, one of the things that I've always thought was interesting is one of the supporters for Bonds being the best hitter of all is Chipper Jones. And Ben Verlander posted, and so like that to me, because of the greatness of Chipper Jones, I mean, if you watch 90s baseball, you know how amazing Chipper Jones was as a baseball player. So first of all, for Chipper to have his back, right. For Chipper to have his back, that says something to me just by itself. But when we look at
Chipper juice too, though,
with Bonds, or Ben Verlander had posted that he thought Bonds was a great hitter, but he considered Ohtani to be the best all-around player.
Well, duh.
I'm sorry, that's still Bonds. No, it's still Bonds. Shohei doesn't. No, Shohei doesn't pitch near enough. He doesn't pitch in a year and a half.
Well, now I'm saying. Well, now he was clearly talking about starting pitcher Shohei, though. That guy's clearly talking about Shohei. Right, he said best all-around player. He's talking about starting pitcher.
You mean
DH.
the 2 seasons? The 2 seasons we got starting pitcher Shohei. We're gonna put that over
Tony. think about it. He has to be talking about that because he ain't talking about just DH Shohei Ohtani, all around player. Not talking about just DH Shohei Ohtani. He's talking about the whole package.
But when you look at the stack of numbers that Bonds put up over the host of his career, and Craig knows it better than I do because he covered it. Multiple Gold Gloves, multiple stolen base titles. He had some of the highest stolen bases out of anybody in the 500 club. Like, was it 5?
We're talking about
he's
starting
514.
pitching. He's the only guy in the 700, 500 club. He's the only guy in the 700, 400, 700, 300, 700, 200. He's the only guy in all those clubs.
Yeah.
That goes to 700, 500.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we got starting Shohei for 2 seasons, and we're probably not going to see starting Shohei ever again. He's probably, when he pitches, going to be a closer once he comes back because they're not burning a $700 million man out, having him start pitching every 5 days. It's not going to happen.
I would agree with that.
I can't justify. Do what?
You're just going to put Shohei back in the same position we're sitting in right now. So we would just turn around and lose him again.
No, because it's you're not going to lose him. But if you put him as a closer, you can have him pitch in the 9th inning most games, which he'll be perfectly fine with. And you're going to get, 20 pitches?
No, for sure. I'm just saying,
Versus-
if we were to have him be a starting pitcher,
Oh,
running
yes.
of putting him right back to where LA's already with him. Like,
Exactly.
there's no point in doing that. You may as well make him a closer. Just do it.
It's and you can, in a pinch, you can have Shohei start on a bullpen day.
Yeah.
You can have there are ways that you can still use it, but his primary job moving forward should be as a closer.
Yeah.
When pitching. So he's a DH and a closer. You're telling me, yes, Shohei gets some stolen bases, got that 50-50 club. That's great. But there's no way, just because he's a closer and a DH, that you can put that above the career that Barry Bonds has. I just can't do it.
You might not be able to if Shohei wasn't putting up the same offensive numbers that Barry Bonds was for a period of time, okay? Obviously, nobody was putting up early 2000s Bonds numbers where his fucking on-base percentage was like 565 or some stupid shit. His OPS was like 1400 or whatever. I'm not talking about that, but consistently over a career with the stolen bases, the power, everything, Shohei could absolutely put up offensive numbers like that. So now all you're saying is that Barry Bonds is a better left fielder and a little better hitter, right? If the guy pitches, or are we talking prime though? Because I get what you're saying, Erika. You can't in theory, Shohei Ohtani could be a starting 5 rotation pitcher and arguably the best left-handed hitter in the league. So if you get that guy, then he is the best.
But here's the thing: you are not ever going to get a Cy Young season out of Shohei. It's not going to.
You almost did already. That's what I'm saying. Maybe not again.
But it's not going to happen. Yes,
you don't think he could do it?
It's not going to happen. No,
you don't think he could do it?
He shouldn't. He absolutely shouldn't.
I'm not asking if he should. Could he? Could he be the opening day starter for the Los Angeles Dodgers and go out and win a Cy Young? Could he?
If he wasn't sitting where he was sitting with having to have the Tommy John,
we're not talking about that. Could he do it if he's completely healthy? Could he do it?
No.
Yes,
prime.
I think he could.
Best player ever.
No,
Yep,
no,
best
he
player
couldn't. No, and he couldn't because there's too many other distractions going on.
Now we're talking about other stuff now. Could he be a Cy Young pitcher and hit 55 home runs and have 50 stolen bases in one season? Could he do it?
No.
You don't think he could do it?
No.
He already kind of did, guys. 2021, he kind of already did.
But he didn't. But he didn't have a Cy Young season. He did not have. Okay, but he has not had one Cy Young season. Barry Bonds had several Gold Glove seasons. And if Platinum Glove was a thing back then, he'd have had that shit too.
I'm sorry, Tony. You just compared Cy Youngs to Gold Gloves. Are they the same thing? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They're not. I'm pretty sure 18 guys get a Gold Glove or whatever the fuck. It's more than that. But no, there's only one guy that gets a Cy Young. So you can't really, that'd be All-Star games and fucking, Michael Redd made an All-Star game.
That's for his position. He did also have 2 EPs?
Brett Gardner made an All-Star game. Who? Bonds is a 7. He's got 2 now. Bonds has 7. Bonds has 7-time MVP. 7-time.
Okay, 7-time MVP. Shohei has 2.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Shohei's like 28,
and I can't for the life of me justify saying is Shohei an elite player?
That's not what he's talking about.
But it still does not eclipse what Bonds did for the game.
Dude, well, over his whole career, of course. Over his whole career, of course. You're absolutely right. That's not what we're talking about. He said that he talked about the best all-around player of all time. If you get prime either one of these two, and you guys just admitted, I know at least Erika did, because she's smart, that Shohei Ohtani could have a Cy Young season and hit 55 home runs and steal 50 bases in one season. It's possible with his talent, correct? That's the best all-time player ever. That would be the best. Outside of what, Babe Ruth. I mean, Babe Ruth had 20 wins in the season, right? That's how far you have to go back at least, or it's anything even comparable. Right. I think he was talking about more, obviously over a career, Barry Bonds. Yeah, he's got 763 home runs. Like, yeah, obviously, like he played forever. But like,
Shohei definitely still has time to potentially get there. He's not
he's not
in his prime. So I mean, like,
I think he is in his prime.
His
prime's gonna be really long. Yeah, he's in his prime. It's gonna be really long. Yeah,
it's possible, but like, I still do think that Shohei has the potential to do it.
For sure, with those ridiculous numbers. Yeah, I mean, he 50-50 last year. Like that's ridiculous. Like, but it's gonna take a while. He'd have to play for a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
He got it into a little later than Bonds did too. So like probably not total numbers. He probably won't get there, but I think more what he's talking about best all player would be like just in their prime, right? You just get the one guy for his prime, like just because Shohei pitches, like offensively, clearly. Do you know how huge of a Barry Bonds fan I am, dude? I like to go look at his video game numbers anytime I can. I just like to like. Sometimes I get it. Sometimes I get just a little bit of an interaction. All right, just a little bit. It's just a slight tinge. When I see 1465 OPS, I'm like, kind of like hits me in a different like a little bit. And then, but like, yeah, dude, fucking 208 walks. 208 walks. 1 year. Got intentionally walked 144 times in one season or something like that. You know how stupid that is? So once again,
yeah, like
they were just like, no,
the stupid
skip.
Numbers.
They're like, skip him. He's a skip card, Nuno. It's like we can just take him out of the game, but you can't because he's on base, obviously. But yeah.
What keeps his greatness in perspective is he only got to see one good pitch,
dude. Yes.
Every single game, and he never missed.
And he just hit it like
almost never missed that one pitch.
Just into the fucking ocean, hitting him into the ocean. Like, oh, you're gonna give me one? And it would be like this far away from him. It'd be like right in front of him. This is where it would be at. And he would literally turn on it. Like he was just right here. And it's like, whoa, that's a different kind of like, that's what's going on there. It's like pitching to a brick wall. But the brick wall, can hit it really far back at you.
Yeah.
There's a bad
aggressive.
It's like pitching to a trampoline, maybe. So something like that. Pitching to a trampoline.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so we're gonna move on. We got a lot to talk about. We've already been going for you want to catch more discussion on this? You'll catch me and Mo, who is in the comments tomorrow morning, Coffee and Sports, 9 a.m. Eastern on Wired to Wire Sports Network. Definitely check us out. The next thing I want to talk about is the St. Louis Cardinals. What?
Oh, I was gonna say, can we please talk about the Red Sox? I was just kidding. Go ahead.
Hey, Dan.
I was obviously kidding about the Red Sox.
The next thing we were talking about, the St. Louis Cardinals have rebounded 9-1 in their last 10, 24 and 20 over the season. They're only one game back from the division from the Cubs. I wanted to get your guys' input. Is the rebound scene from the Cardinals, is this here to stay, or is this going to be something that vanishes just as quick as it came?
I hope it stays. For their sake, I hope it stays, but I definitely feel like it's gonna fizzle out.
They have a lot of young talent.
Okay. And yeah, they do, but I still feel like it's gonna fizzle out.
They have my favorite player, my favorite name in baseball, Lars Nootbaar. Best name in baseball. He really is hits lead off, obviously. I mean, right fielder. I have a bunch of his rookie cards. So we need Lars to have a good season this year. No, I'm just kidding. No, but Mason Wynn, Jordan Walker, and they have a couple of guys who I saw that were like they're dudes who are huge prospects that they're hitting. Like Jordan Walker hits 8 in that lineup or something like that. Jordan Walker was like for a while, Craig probably knows this. Jordan Walker was like in the top 5 or 6 prospects in baseball for a couple of years, wasn't he? Like back in early 2020s, I think, something like that. But like he was high up there. So like they have a couple of guys that one of their pitchers too is like up there. But like, yeah, so a couple of guys that aren't even really fulfilling their potential. And I think that they loaded up for a while there because obviously they haven't been good for a second. I think they loaded up their farm system and stuff. So that's what you're getting is like almost like that 2014, like that Royals wave. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like where they were just like everyone was like all at the same time. And I'm not saying they're the 2014 Royals, obviously, because nobody
That was lightning in a bottle.
Alex Gordon is probably the best player in Major League Baseball history. Just saying, I'm just kidding. But no, like you can't compare him to that. But like that's what it looks like as far as like the younger guys, Mason Wynn and Dylan Carlson, the other one, Gorman. Nolan Gorman's hitting the fucking cover off the ball apparently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like Jordan Walker's huge. He hits like 7 or 8 for him or something like that. I don't think he hasn't even been playing that well.
He's hitting sub 200 right now.
Yeah, see, that's a crazy part. Like I think he's always been the strikeout guy. He's a strikeout walk, the three outcome guy. But yeah, and then their pitching's young and talented too. I mean, get rid of Waino and all that stuff, and they still I think they were just stacking up their farm system for a second. So that's what it appears to be. I mean, how do those teams fare in the playoffs? Historically, not well. You know what I'm saying? Like not real well, but like there has been a couple. Obviously, mentioned one Royals, and then there was the 2001 Florida Marlins. Miguel Cabrera and then those boys. Juan Pierre was on that team, and yeah, Carlos Delgado. How about that? Young Carlos Delgado. Anyway, I think it's young talent, and it's a long season, and like a lot like in the NBA when you have young talent, and they want to have something to prove. They tend to be they tend to be better in the regular season and as a whole, really, because like the Oklahoma State Thunder, perfect example this year, won 63 whatever regular season games, and it's because they're all just motivated every night. I mean, they're not taking games off and things like that. So they're definitely just not taking games off ever because they want to play every game. Got something to prove.
Yeah.
So I see that's probably what's going on. So I don't know. It's probably not here to stay. Who knows?
What do you think? Greg, what do you think, man?
The weather gets better, warms up. They're good. They're going to hit a hot streak. Their pitching is supporting them just fine. It's a young talent. It's a really good young talent, but it's a long season.
Yeah. Full of wacky stuff that happens the whole time.
Yeah.
Did you see the Judge homer tonight, Tony? Just had to point it out. Did you see it?
We'll talk Judge in a little bit. That's going to be our
asking
closing stuff as we're going to talk. I have not seen it yet, no.
Okay, I'll load the video.
The next thing, of course you would. The Red Sox did announce today Tanner Houck is going on the 15-day IL. They called it a right vagina strain. No, hold on. It was where'd it go? I just had it. Where'd it go?
His penis was inverted.
That is very possibly what happened.
Inverted peni.
Yeah, it was some kind of like freaking strain or something. He's on the 15-day IL. In his 9 starts to start the year, his ERA is 8.04.
Hell of a competitor.
The hell of a competitor. Just has already given up more home runs this season than he gave up all of last year. Last year, had a remarkable season, only gave up 11 home runs. That's why Tanner Houck performing it the way that he is more of a shock because he had a season this year. So the question becomes, how quickly does Boston have to think about replacing or trading him to get another pitcher in so that they don't struggle every time he's up on the mound? How much time do you give him to get right before you just realize you have to do something?
Well, right now you can't trade him because he's not attractive at all.
Right. Does he have a big? He has a big deal. You said. Has he gotten the big deal yet or not?
You know what?
I don't think he does. I think he's
something. Where's
he
his?
should get on a rookie contract. I think it's 5 years or whatever.
Let me see. I'm pulling it up right now. If it'll load. There we go. So this was his first arbitration year, and it's a little less than $4 million. So he's got 2 more arbitration years before he's an unrestricted free agent. So he's cheap.
Right.
So if a team thinks they can fix him, you might get something back for him.
Or if you're Boston, just keep him, and if he can fix it, because obviously the guy's got talent, right? I mean, you don't there's, because the pitching's so weird, and you can just be I would just keep him, because I mean, you're not gonna get that back. Somebody who can actually be a
yes. Damian, you're right. Fuck you, but you're right. Giolito finally has a good start. You got Garrett Crochet that's having a Cy Young season already. And your third strongest pitcher since Walker Buehler's still out on injury. And he's just giving away runs. Because, if you think about, based on what the performance should have been out of these guys, Garrett Crochet, Walker Buehler, Tanner Houck, Lucas Giolito, and then your 5th starter is Brian Bayo. If they're all performing how they should, that's one of the best rotations in baseball. Yeah, sure. Boston is 23-24.
Rafael Devers strikes out a lot. Why are they all over Jerry Durant? He does, yeah. How about that too? Him not wanting to switch to first or whatever. How you feel about that? We talked about that 2 years ago. How we're like, Ralphie's over there getting fat. He can't stop eating. And
he was the worst third baseman in the league last year. And everybody's arguing over him being at first base. I would rather have the call-up guy, David Skogard, I think is his name. I'd rather have him play first than Rafi, because he's a horrible fielder. Now, a team player should be willing to do what the team needs. So I'm going to say that first, and I get the criticism there to a point, even though the ownership kind of did him dirty with the whole Bregman thing. Because I guarantee you, they didn't tell him they were getting Bregman out like everybody else did when it was announced. And when your star player, you're bringing in somebody else to take their position, you at least got to have a conversation. Hey, this is what's going to happen. We still value you. You just need to add depth here. There's got to be something. But they didn't do that. I'm starting
to understand why you hate Boston's fucking front office.
And what frustrates me about it is Breslow was a pitcher. Breslow played for the Red Sox. How did he not think about having that conversation? How did he not handle that whole situation better?
Dude, I think that they're stubborn a lot of times. I think they just go, well, he's going to do what we tell him to do because we're the team. You know what I'm saying? No, bro, that's not how it should work. Honestly, what are you doing? Well, he'll have to do it if he wants to play for. Not everybody wants to. You do have to have the conversation still. You can just have the conversation and then. Yeah, there you go. Yes, I saw that.
And that's the thing is that's the thing that frustrates me about the whole situation is if the front office handled this better, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now.
And then there was Xander.
Well, and you also look at if they really, and I said this in the article I wrote for the Wire to Wire sports page.
Name drop.
They should have been talking to him about first base in spring training. They were trying to trade Cassis and move off of Cassis in the offseason.
Minnesota.
Package that was going to go to Seattle to get Luis Castillo Jr. The only reason that trade did not happen was because Boston and Seattle could not agree on how his salary was going to be paid. And so you're looking at moving off of Cassis. There's not a lot in the first baseman market right now. It's actually kind of bare. I've been looking. It's not great.
Yeah.
It was clear earlier this year. The first baseman market this year was not going to be great. So question becomes, why were they not in enough forethought when they realized they were bringing Bregman in? Why were they not telling Rafi, look, you want to play out? You want to play in the field still? Cool. You're going to win first base.
Yeah. It also kind of reminds me of like
he would already be ready right now.
Right, but if he's already, you said he was a terrible fielder though. Like it reminds me of like Moneyball, where Billy Bean's like, well, nope, Scott, we're gonna make you play first base. He's like, isn't first? He's like, I never played first base before. He's like, it's fine, it's easy. And he looks at the guy, he goes, he'll teach you. He goes, it's incredibly hard. he's like, it's easy, right? And he's like, it's incredibly hard.
It's incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he could do. But if they had been working with him back then so that he had time to get up to speed and platoon with Cassis until Cassis got injured, then at that point, at least a viable option where you try to get Skogard ready, or calling up Skogard, get him ready, or finding a viable option, you at least have a more appropriate option than that. So that's my criticism of the front office, is they did not think this whole problem through. Because there were clearly other things going on with this. The conversation with Rafi at first should have already happened in spring training. He played it as a completely different story. The conversation should have happened back in spring training.
Yeah, for sure. But what does it really change though? I guess because like, what if he just tells them the same thing? He's like, I'm not gonna play first. It's like, does it? They still get Bregman probably, right? I mean, you would want Bregman's back, I would think.
The conversation for if he wants to play first happens after they get Bregman. They were getting Bregman regardless. Boston was the favorite to land Bregman before they had even before they were even looking at trading for Castillo. Like they were the favorite for that for a while. Like there was no secret that Boston was going for Bregman, but they never talked to Rafi about it. And that's where the issue is to me, and I think that's why he got mad. And for that, he's the star player. He gets a little bit more of a white glove treatment than the other guys do. The way it works in professional sports, your star guy's going to get that to a point. So why didn't they? That's my question.
Well, yeah, and they should have known because they knew that Rafi's kind of little. He's a little fucking kind of a little spoiled. Bit of a diva.
Yeah,
he's a little bit spoiled with his fucking dip of chew in his mouth. It's like wrapped in bubble gum. How in the hell does he even get that thing in there, dude?
It's the size of one of Ed and Eddie's jawbreakers.
Yes, at the plate. Do you know how much of that he's swallowing when he swings? Like, there's no way that you're not like. I know. That's what I think about all the time. Like, that's what I have to think about while I'm watching baseball games, Erika. It's about how Rafi Devers is swallowing chew spit.
You're thinking about men. You're thinking about men swallowing while you're watching baseball. I don't think you're doing it right.
I mean,
he is a Yankee fan, so it makes sense.
That's fair.
Hey, I think Anthony Rizzo's on the market. Go get his ass.
Go fuck yourself.
I'm pretty sure he can't see now. I'm pretty sure he can't see because Julio Rodriguez knows Fernando Tatis kneed him in the head in a play.
Yeah,
and that was when Tatis was juicing. So steroids are bad, folks. He was just like so strong. Fernando Tatis just turned around and kneed him in the head, and Rizzo didn't have a concussion until like 2 weeks later. It was ridiculous. But it's thin. You're right. Cassis is a big little. What'd you call him? He's somebody's son.
Love child. I have no question about it. That is Dane Cook's love child. For those of you who are in the chat that are watching, when we get done, go look at a picture of Tristan Cassis, Red Sox first baseman, and then look at a picture of Dane Cook, and you're gonna be like, those are
Tristan Cook. Tristan Cassis Cook. He's gonna hyphenate it.
Cassis took his mom's name. That's what it is. He took his mom's name.
Ironically, some of his swings are laughable. So count it. Yeah.
So now we have to get to an interesting discussion because somebody made a comparison. Again, this was an ESPN post that I saw because, of course,
couldn't see.
Somebody said that prime Aaron Judge is like prime Albert Pujols. And I know that Dan's going to find every way to justify it. So Erika, You haven't talked a lot today. What do you think? Do you think that's a more accurate comparison than Bonds?
For once, gee. I don't know.
I mean,
Don't do it.
don't do what?
Don't do what you're about to do. I can tell. Whatever you're about to do, don't do it.
Do?
I don't know I don't know. Just don't do it.
Fine, I won't do anything. I'll sit in a corner.
Yeah. She's like, all right. She doesn't know. She doesn't know Pujols. Like we know Pujols, Tony. You and I know Pujols.
Yeah, I don't.
We all know our Pujols, okay?
I'll give him credit. I don't know Pujols like that, so I'm not going to disagree.
Okay. All right, Craig. I'll let you take this one. What do you think?
Do you want me to lie or be honest here?
I like it. It's good honesty.
Good honesty. You're okay. Craig, what do you think?
You just do what everybody else on the show does.
I think Aaron Judge has got some more years to go to be talked about in the realm of Pujols, Bonds.
Sure.
Any of those. He's got a ways to go.
But so Craig, I realize with a lot of that stuff, like we get caught up in like any of these comparisons, we get caught up in like the overall numbers of and the way I'm looking at it is like if anybody's going to ask that question, like obviously Pujols' numbers are much better than Aaron Judge's because he played for a long period of time, right? When this career was over, then we can compare the things, right? I think mostly what these people are saying when they're saying like he's prime in the prime with the 1 year, like Aaron Judge right now is at the peak of where he's going to be probably as a player. I don't think there's any higher you can go. The dude's hitting 412. Okay. There's not any higher you go than that. Really. He's leading the league in home runs. He hit a home run tonight, Tony. That's why I asked you saw it. That did not go more than 30 feet off the ground, 118 mile an hour exit velo. It got out in 2.1 seconds. And it hit the wall so hard that there was a mark in the scoreboard wall where he hit it at. This dude, and I sent you on Messenger, I screen recorded the sound from the highlights of that ball hitting a bat. It was over the crowd. The crowd was like considerably loud. And you can hear the crack of this bat and I was like, dude, there is nobody ever who has hit it this hard, I don't think. I don't think there's ever a guy and that's actually, StatCast has actually kind of shown that. They obviously couldn't have Bonds doesn't have all of his fucking home run StatCast like a lot of them are, but there's nobody who's ever hit the ball this hard outside of his teammate. Giancarlo Stanton hits the ball harder sometimes, but if you get to 120 exit velo, you smoked that ball. There's no harder you can hit a baseball really. They're like proven, right? So I don't know, dude. Like he might have power wise. I think he's the best right-handed power hitter to ever play. I think if you had him on like MLB The Show, right? And you had all these guys were just compared to their eras, whatever. And if you had a power rating, power stat, I think his is the highest base of anybody. He's at least tied.
I think it is.
You know what I'm saying?
It's up there.
With righties,
it's up there. It is.
I don't think there's one more right-handed hitter that you could probably put that rating. Maybe Hank Aaron. I think just longevity-wise, maybe you put Hank Aaron, but I don't think Hank Aaron was ever, because Hank Aaron did never hit over 50 in a year. So his thing was just like consistency, and obviously his mechanics were great. And everything and he was so consistent for that long. But I think overall, if you want a homer on and at bat, and you get one guy to pick from, and you have a left-handed pitcher, I think he's your guy of all time probably. Like if you want a homer, you know what I'm saying? Because he'll miss hit balls, break bats and stuff, and hit balls like 360 just from missing it. He'll reach out and touch it, and it'll go So if he gets a hold of one, if it's high enough, it's out. So that's the kind of crazy thing about it. It almost looks like some of the arenas that they play in are too Tampa, which is hilarious. Tampa's home stadium now is George Steinbrenner Field, which I think is just humiliating. But
it's funny.
We don't own the Rays. No, we actually do own the Rays. Do we actually own the Rays? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, some of the stadiums look too small for that dude. If he got to play in all AAA stadiums, there's a lot of homers. He hits 80 home runs because some of them are just really small and weird, and they have short fences, and he's just too strong. He'll just hit it out of there. He's like that kid that probably got held back in JC's baseball when you were young, the big kid. Everybody always drafted him, and you get a hold of the ball, you just go it's definitely over the fence because if he just gets a hold of it. Yeah, but that's what it's
What's up, Ando? So I just learned a stat that I thought was interesting. I didn't know this. Albert Pujols has the league record for most career ground into double play hits.
That totally makes sense. That 100,
426 total over the course of his career.
Oh my God. Yeah,
he does with ground into double plays what Judge does with strikeouts, just all the time.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up. His strikeout rate has gone under the league average, I believe, for the last 2.5 years, something like that. If you want to get statistical about it, he's actually better at not striking out than as a power hitter. We're talking about the greatest right-handed power hitter of all time that doesn't strike out more than the average guy, right? I mean, because we can't put Giancarlo in there. I mean, if you want to put the most power stat, it's probably Giancarlo, honestly. Giancarlo's hit the hardest balls of all time.
So,
yes,
okay.
Every year.
So here's the thing. Aaron Judge struck out 171 times last year. He only played in 158 games.
Yeah, that's about the league average.
He has struck out 40 times this year. Only played in 42 games.
Yeah. Go look at Rafael Devers' numbers. All right. No, I think we're not talking about Rafael Devers. No, I know. But that's
nobody's
trying
to claim that Rafael Devers is the greatest left-handed hitter of all time either.
Greatest right-handed. But yeah, I'm not claiming. I never said he was the greatest right-handed hitter of all time because I honestly think
you just said the greatest right-handed power hitter of all time.
I said the greatest right-handed power hitter. We use words, Tony, to make meanings.
But I mean, isn't that kind of the exact same?
It is not. No, because power is one part of hitting. Tony Gwynn's not the greatest power hitter of all time. Tony Gwynn is the greatest contact hitter of all time.
That's
difference.
Okay.
Words,
that's
meaning, correct?
All right.
Yeah. Count it. No, I'm just kidding. But for real, like if you put a power stat on all the guys of all time, it's so hard to do because like you can't really we don't even know how strong Babe Ruth was. Like literally, Tony, Babe Ruth could have been built like you. We really don't know. Like, and he could have just been out there and like this. all the fences were all pulled in. He's playing in junior midgets style stuff. You know, they're throwing him meatballs. He just comes in for like one at bat, so they can throw him like just home runs, and they just record him, and then they say he hit 714 or whatever. No, but
I've said the same thing about relationships, Ando. You need power as much as you need connection.
Right, Ando. Thank you. And then obviously there's other things there would be is like batting eye.
I'm still single.
Correct. Discipline is what they would call it, I guess. Discipline is a huge thing, which Aaron Judge's is great. If you sit there and you're trying to somehow knock his strikeout numbers, dude. I watch this dude every day. The pitches this guy takes is outrageous. They're outrageous. Some of the pitches this guy takes. He's 6'7", so his fucking strike zone is as big as Jose Altuve.
What would Pete Rose say about the number of strikeouts that Aaron Judge has in a year?
It wasn't 260 something. He was talking about 260 something when he said, "I'll kill myself if I had 260 strikeouts." He said, "If I struck out," he was talking about Joey Gallo. He said, "If I struck out 261 times in a season, I'd blow my fucking brains out." Was the actual quote. Said it to a reporter. I'm sorry. I love Pete Rose. I just do. It's just shit like that just makes me. I'm like, this guy. He's one of those dudes you just have like a mint julep with at 10:30 in the morning. Talk about racist stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that was Pete Rose. Like Craig knows. Craig's like, yeah, pretty much. It's like Pete tried to get me to drink in the morning all the time.
Pete Rose.
He can't say.
Tell a Pete Rose story, Craig. A good one.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have time, Tony?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that to close this out.
Same game that Dave Dravecki was coming back from against the Reds at Candlestick. That game, all the media attention was on Dave Dravecki before that game. So I had Pete Rose basically to myself. He was sitting in the dugout at Candlestick. There's a security guard and a San Francisco police officer not too far from him, just keeping mischief away. And I sat down with Pete and I hit him right away with my questions as far as the gambling and everything, and he lied right to my face, as I knew he would. He was very, very, very respectful, very free with his time. but he was bullshitting me the entire time. And finally, I finally asked him a question about about upcoming and possibly being banned and all that. And I watched out of the corner of my eye the San Francisco police officer and security guard kind of slowly exit stage left because it was getting pretty tense with Rose. But he was always affable for talking. I remember a time when Eric Davis, the rookie, was coming up, and he said, "Watch this kid, watch his hands." And he was teaching me how to watch Eric Davis's hands, and how the advantage he had is he could wait the longest time on a pitch because his wrists were so quick, and he could drive, and the power that he had through his swing. I mean, he was just a kid back then. It was 85, 86, when he was coming up. But Rose was great about talking about baseball, but he was a bullshitter 100% and a bold-faced liar when it came to the gambling. And later on he admitted it.
So like he was like an idiot savant basically, like with baseball. Like it was like he probably wasn't doing like much. Like, but yeah, because the hands thing is such a good, like that's such a good part of the story though, because like it is about
idiot savant is a good word. You could not sit down with him and talk politics. You couldn't talk entertainment, movies. He wasn't interested in that. He was all interested in baseball.
Yeah.
Betting on horses. Like on the track, all that stuff, and then and his penchant for signing game worn jerseys that were worn for like a half an inning, and then selling them for $600.
Me and Tony had a theory that that Pete Rose just like you could like wind him up in the back basically, and he would just have autograph sign mode where you could just put a pin in his hand and it just did his autograph, and you could just put stuff in front of it and he would just autograph it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he just couldn't stop doing it. Yeah, dude. That's why I was Pete Rose scared.
His value on his signatures is so low because he signed everything.
Dude, yeah, and like
the market's flooded.
He's like, "Let me out of here." He just has to keep doing it. Like we're just putting stuff in front of him.
Yeah.
Putting baseballs in front of him. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Pete Rose scared.
Pete Rose scared. All right, y'all. Well, we have had a great tonight. You can catch me and Erika Monday night, Sports Report 10 p.m. Eastern. Dan may pop in there from time to time when he has time. You'll catch Erika, Craig, and I next week right here on podcast named Deferred 10 p.m. Eastern on the channels you're seeing it now. And by the way, again, tomorrow morning, Wire to Wire Sports channels will be on Coffee and Sports in the morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. Check us out. Thank y'all for coming out and give us a watch tonight. Share with your friends, and we'll see you next week. Have a good night.
Craig, do you think Pete Rose should be like the first posthumously Hall of Fame guy? Because like nobody wanted him to be in there while he was still alive.